And we finna run through it. So first off, let me show you something. Where I put the remote? Oh, here you go. Let's start with the actual cover. Boom. So notice the big monster, he is blue, but a certain blue. The exact blue of the throat chakra. Turquoise, sky blue, whatever you want to call it. He's that blue. All right. Then his specs are violet. We know violet, crown chakra. So right away, and him being the biggest monster, he was the most awoke. He became awoke before he did. Remember that. Although he was supposed to be the scariest one, he became awoke right when he did. Remember, throughout the whole movie, he was the scared leader. Okay, on the board. Randall was cheating and shit. Randall was the fucking chameleon. He was cheating, trying to get his numbers up. That's how the fuck they brought Boo, the little human girl, into Monsters World. All right, but let me tell you why the director put them specs on him, because this violet represents him detaching from his world that he was in. For him to recognize that, first off, although we might be scared of this kid and we're using this kid for blood and energy, actually this kid is not as bad as I've been programmed to believe. He saw that instantly, right? He saw it before he did, right? He saw it later, but he saw it first. Even when they was banished with the abominable snowman, he was like, fuck her. Remember that? Fuck her. Now notice what color is he? He's green. So, of course, he would see it later than him because he's at a higher vibration. That's what his colors represent. Because if you know the colors of the chakras, the heart chakra is a lower vibration than the throat chakra, and the throat chakra is a lower vibration than the crown chakra. All right? They could have picked them to be any color in the world. They picked that for that exact reason. All right? Now, stay with me. Now, notice one eye symbology, third eye open. So, that is the truth is being revealed to y'all. Y'all have to open y'all eye to see this. That's why they gave him the Cyclops look in the movie. All right. Now, let's talk about the two different ways that what this movie is about. It's all about these different doorways that they open up when they try to drain adrenochrome from our kids. Okay, so where everybody is familiar with child sex trafficking. But to be honest with you, sex is the last thing they doing with the kids when they get them. Sex should be the least of your worries, like that they doing with these kids when they get them. It's called child sex trafficking, so the first thing you thinking is, okay, they got little kids prostituting. It's much, much worse than that. I don't even know why they call it child sex anything. It should just be child trafficking, child organ harvesting, because sex is some shit they doing with them every now and then. It's not their main reason for grabbing them. They're not obsessed with these kids to have sex with them. That's not the reason they grab the kids, okay? They grab the kids to get the adrenochrome. The adrenochrome, they can get it from the kids. They can also get it from the gods and goddesses. But the only species that can produce adrenochrome is gods or goddesses. The only people that can produce adrenochrome is gods and goddesses. Go upstairs. The only people that can produce adrenochrome is gods and goddesses or kids. All right? So you have to understand that kids are the purest form of adrenochrome. All right? What is adrenochrome? All right? You have chromosomes in you. Remember, these chromosomes are many suns, okay? Human beings don't even have chromosomes. But they tell you, and they tell human beings that they have chromosomes. Remember, they got us thinking we all one human race. They say they call us all humanity. We're not all humanity. It's gods, goddesses, and human beings, and you got clones and robots. All right? And then you got synthetic robots, okay? You got regular robots, which is like the little doggy robots. People been posting them regular robots. Then you got your synthetics that look like me and you every day. All right, that you wouldn't know the difference. And then you have your extraterrestrials that's here, and you have your interterrestrials that's here. Beings, advanced beings that live within the earth, all right? And they don't really live within the earth. They just live on different realms within the earth, all right? So when they could say inner earth, that's bullshit. Inner earth would be the 9 different realms, okay? Inner earth is not some hole in the plane right here that leads it. And like, no, it don't work like that. But that's another way they throw you off course, all right? So understand that adrenochrome is the chromosomes. All right, they taking the energy, the photon energy from the chromosomes because they can't take sunlight. Everybody's saying adrenochrome, but you don't really understand why adrenochrome is so powerful to them. It's adrenaline plus chromosomes. It's adrenaline and chromosome, the energy from the chromosomes to be exact. All right, so the energy that's inside the nucleus of the chromosomes is photon energy at its base. Remember, your chromosomes is the same thing as suns. The sun is all photon energy. It's nothing but pure photon energy. All right, that heat you feel, that's photon energy. That photon energy is in each and every one of us, okay? It's in each and every one of us. This is what makes up your chromosomes, all right? But be understood, human beings don't have chromosomes just like human beings don't have DEA. These are the things that separate us. This is why as we age, we look different, all right? This is like I say, human beings have blue veins because that comes from genetic splicing. We have green veins full of gamma radiation, carbonated beings. All right, then we talking science right now. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't understand when beings try to argue the science. I'm only presenting the science. I'm not presenting opinion or nothing. All right, so adrenochrome is so important to these reptilian beings because the people that feed off the adrenochrome is these reptilians. All right, and let's remember who the reptilians are. All right, but these reptilians feed off of adrenochrome. So it's the adrenaline that's produced from scaring somebody. Because when you get scared, your adrenaline start pumping. Okay, so it's the adrenaline combined with the energy that leaks out of your chromosomes when you become scared. If you go into fear, your chromosomes have pores within them. All right, so your chromosomes, when you're moving, when you vibrate, when you're happy, well, not happy, but when you're feeling good, you light up, right? That comes from your chromosomes. Okay, that's your chromosomes that give you that radiance when a person smiles. That's the all the photon energy. No different than when the sun is shining. It's radiant, right? It's very radiant, okay? It's the same thing with your chromosomes. So now, the gods, we have, if we go into a fear state as adult gods, it's not the same purity as a child or as our goddesses. For one, our goddesses represents the X chromosome, so they offer, once again, XY chromosome. It comes to chromosomes. That's what adrenochrome is. All right, understand how powerful chromosomes are and that these reptilian beings can't take sunlight. These inorganic human beings can't take sunlight. But the human beings that's vibrating low, they not out here eating the kids. They not doing that. They just living amongst the matrix, being lost in the lies if they are not vibrating higher and awoken. They are only used as pawns to serve as the front line for the war when we go to rise, but they gonna want us to attack these white people because that's all we gonna think about is we've been shown white people hurting us. We know nothing about these reptilians and these Pleiadians or the different sections of human beings. All right, so that's all they use for. But meanwhile, we are the purity of the crop. So the reptilian species, they love to eat and drink our adrenaline and the photon energy that leaks out of our chromosomes. So that's why it's called adrenochrome. All right, let's get that understood why it's even called adrenochrome. All right, now that you understand that portion of it, and now that you know that there's an extraterrestrial reptilian race, the Alpha Draconian reptilians to be exact, all right, that is running this planet and have been running this planet since they got here. And they run this planet as the shadow government. It's these Alpha Draconian reptilians and these Pleiadians. All right, like I said about these Pleiadians, they can get between 6 to 7 feet tall, but on average they 5 to 6 feet tall. But they could be between either, you know what I'm saying? Because the ones I've came in contact with all stood between 6 and 7 feet tall. However, it was brought to my attention in deep meditation while talking with certain other elderly beings that, yeah, you do have Pleiadians that stand 5 to 6 feet tall, walking amongst us as well. But understand that those two beings are what you call your shadow government, and they control the world. They communicate strictly with 5 main individuals: the economic system, the education system, the judicial system, social engineering, all right, and also the medical field. All right, this is how they run the world. And the shadow government, which is the Pleiadians and Reptilians, they only talk to those leaders in those 5 positions. And those leaders in those 5 fields, they have whole boards under them. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about the judicial system. But the person that will be sitting at that table will be the 5-star general of the entire military. Just like they showed you in the cartoon Inside Job. This is what they're showing you in that cartoon, okay? So now that we understand that concept, let's dive deeper. All right, let's unlock our third eye and go deeper into what this movie was showing you. Okay, so now you know what the jars was being filled with the red liquid, but you know why they need the liquid. Now, do you know who the monsters represent? The monsters represent the reptilian race. So all of them are represent the reptilian race. Now, let's think about how um you have Monsters Inc. Okay, you have what's called Monsters Inc. All right, and with Monsters Inc., that's where they worked at. Okay, but notice before they worked for Monsters Inc., they still lived in a city. Okay, so the city they lived in, when they worked at Monsters Inc., they went home every day and went home. All right, just like when Boo, the little girl, when she came through the door, they took her home. Okay, that represents how you got all these underground cities, all these underground bases full of lizard people or reptilian species. You can go look up, Google lizard beings of LA. It's all type of stories dating far back as 1920 of underground tunnels being found with these lizard beings. Well, these lizard beings are these reptilians, okay? So they live on our planet under us, okay? But most of us was unaware of their existence, just like in the movie. The human beings was unaware of that species. However, they were very aware of the human being species. They were preying and living off the kids. Think about it. They went home, so that shows you they have a whole community. They have whole communities that was under the ground. That's why sometimes when you hear earthquakes, I told you that's our ancestors going down that war with them, blowing up these underground cities where you have kids that never seen the light of day. They grew up in them underground cities with them reptilians. You got adult goddesses that grew up because they were kids when they got taken down there, spent their whole life down there. Because they don't kill each and every kid or adult for adrenochrome. Sometimes they use them over and over again for adrenochrome. Because remember, when they scare the kid or they scare the adult goddess, she's going to release adrenaline, and then her chromosomes are going to start leaking photon energy because she's operating on a vibration of fear. So sometimes some of them they would keep. All right, some of them they keep. Okay, so they keep scaring them over and over and over. Right now, notice how in the movie, right, when they brought Boo, the human being girl, into the reptilian world. Now that we know that they represent the reptilians, because if you've seen a reptilian, what would you call them? You would call them a monster. They would look like a monster to you, right? So that's why this is called Monsters Inc. Okay, so the reptilian species, however, if you notice, when they brought her into their world, all right, they were scared of her. They were scared of her. They didn't even want to touch her. All right, so what does that represent? Because kids are the purest form, they have the highest forms of dark matter energy when they get here. You know, because they showed you a little white girl. They're not out here kidnapping little white kids. All right, the only time white people get kidnapped, it'd be another race called the insectoids and the grays. And they don't grab them from no adrenochrome. They grab them to do stem cell research on them and to tamper with their biology and to study them. All right, more so than anything. And sometimes the insectoids will eat human beings, but they don't limit themselves to kids and women like these reptilians do. The reptilians only fuck with our kids and our women, strictly for the adrenochrome. Now, what I want you to notice is when the little baby, which represents these little kids, our kids, so the gods and goddesses, when the little baby, when she came into the monster's world, notice how when she cried, it knocked all the power out in the whole city. Why? Because where does crying come from? Crying comes from the soul. That's why they tell you crying cleanses the soul. So when she was crying, that was symbolic of the power of the soul and how important it is to their world, okay? When she cried, it knocked all the power out immediately, right? And when she became happy, all the power came back on, okay? That not only does that represent how it powers their world in these underground cities that's within our realm and within our on here on Atlantis, but it also represents what goes on right here on the surface. Remember, our souls is used to power their whole dream, the whole American dream, the factories, the Fortune 500 companies. That shit is powered from our soul, our soul. So this is why they go out of their way to make sure that we are appeased to a point. This is what the whole purpose of entertainment is. When we sit here, we watch this and enjoy this, we release adrenochrome, we release energy that they soak up, and it helps to power the electricity, power the planet. All right, if we start getting upset, literally it'll be a blackout because we are total darkness. We are chaos energy. It wasn't no light. We are the darkness. So that's what they're representing. But they're not gonna show you to keep you thrown off. They're not gonna show you a black baby. They showed you a little white baby, human being. All right. Now let's keep going. They showed a lot in this movie. All right. I want to talk about next how they showed you two different ways that they get the adrenochrome, because they get it two ways. Okay, we all familiar with the child sex trafficking, and I'm gonna dive deeper into that point. But what you are not aware of is the doorways that they put in everybody's house with kids. This is one of the purposes of a census. They do census reports and they collect data, right? So they also have all type of drones that they use along nowadays with your phones now and these flat screen TVs now, right? They watching us through all this, even this iPad that we're using right now, okay? But what they do is they find out what homes have kids. They know how many babies coming in. They're keeping up with that at all times, right? So what they do is if they see that you have kids in your home, what they do is they open up these doorways or these gateway dimensions in your house in the room where the kids is at. So they find out what room your kids in because they use all type of, this is where your insect technology comes in at. You got all type of bugs that appear as flies, and this would be actually drones. You have mosquitoes. These are some mosquitoes and drones. You might have a rare insect get in your house. Like, what the fuck a centipede doing in here? Drone. You might have, all type of stuff going. This is what they use. All right, now, it's just now coming out on the internet about this insect drone technology, but they've been having this shit forever. All right, it's just people are waking up to it. I remember telling people about this shit years ago, and they just knew I was crazy. But however, they use this type of technology along with census reports to gather data to find out what homes where kids are at, and then they need to locate the rooms, okay? So they use all type of different technology to locate where your kids are at in your house. Right now, the military has technology where they can look right through your motherfucking house. Like, anybody that knows about the technology should know that, and that's been out. Like, the police could sit outside your house, and they use certain microphone technology where they can hear your whole conversation. You know what I'm saying? They could see right through your house. This is a fact. So when they find out what room it got kids in, long story short, they put these dimension doorways in like the closets and under the bed. This is why, and they did this to all of us when we was kids. A lot of us don't know why some of us still scared of the goddamn dark right now. Some of us still scared to be alone. Some of us still scared to be watch a horror movie alone and stuff like that, right? The reason a lot of us have this whole ideology of fear, they do this to all babies and kids. Like, you leave your baby in the crib, you go in the room and go to sleep, they fucking with the baby. Baby crying, you wake up in the middle of the night, you go, why the baby crying? They just scared the fuck out the baby. You don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know it. You go in there, get the baby something to drink, and the baby can't talk and tell you what they just seen. Or you see how little babies and little kids, they be seeing all type of shit and you don't see it, and they get scared, they'll cry, you don't know what the hell going on. All right? This is what they use. They use this doorway technology, and what happens is these reptilians reveal themselves. Remember, these reptilians are shapeshifters. So they'll reveal themselves to the child or the baby and scare them. And when they scare them, they seep the adrenochrome from them. They don't try to grab them. And when they create the doorways, they strictly just getting adrenochrome. All right. So they don't kidnap the kids that way. They don't hurt them. They can't really hurt them. They just scare them and drain them and feed off the adrenochrome that the child produces out of fear. For example, and they do this all the way up to 13. Lele, my daughter Lele, she keep telling me, like she said last night, hey Pops, last year I heard somebody knock on my door. Or she done told me about how I'll go in her room, check on her and Zoe, and she'll have her closet light on. Well, she ain't did it in a minute, but she used to do it a lot. And I'm like, why the closet light on? She'll be like, because I be hearing stuff in the closet, or be feeling like something in the closet, or I be feeling like somebody knocking at the door, right? This is what she say. Zoe won't even sleep in a room by herself like that. She'd rather be in a room with Lele. You see what I'm saying? With her big sister. Most kids don't even want to sleep in rooms by themselves when they that little. Why? Because they see these reptilian beings. We all went through it, but a lot of us forgot it because we continued to grow and became these adult phases. But this is a fact. Kids don't be lying when they say they seeing shit. Kids don't be lying when they say they feel like something in the room, they saw something in the dark, something in their closet, or something's under the bed. All these ancient stories of the boogeyman, this shit is dated in real facts. You feel me? It's dated in real facts, and we don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? But they showed it to you in here too. They showed you that. But they also showed you the second phase of how they get adrenochrome, which is this is where the child trafficking comes in at, the organ harvesting. Because what they do is, you got your government. They showed you this in Squid Games. They don't really, like, Squid Games is about what they do to the kids more so than they don't really do that with adults like that. They really grab a bunch of kids and do that with the kids. That's why in Squid Games you seen them playing red light, green light, and they was playing all these different little kiddie games and stuff like that, tug of war. Because this is what they do with real kids in real lifetime. So when they snatch your kids off the street, what they do is this. You got first off, your shadow government is your Pleiadians and these reptilians. That's why I recommend everybody go watch They Live, because that's all about how aliens was running the whole goddamn world and nobody knew. All right, and how was they running the world? And They Live, they was controlling the world through the frequency. All right, through the frequency towers on the top of that every city has, even right now in real lifetime. All right, and the whole thing to make to show the world the reptilians ran the world, they had to blow up the tower, then to knock out the frequency so they could be revealed to everybody. That's really how they had been hiding amongst us, controlling us through the frequency waves. So what they were showing you in here was, they were showing you how, like, basically this is what they do. Your shadow government, which would be your reptilians and Pleiadians, they send out this quota for how many kids and women they need for the month. So then your government, I mean, the 5 different phases, you got the hospitals are in on this shit. You'll be surprised how many babies go missing from hospitals. You'll be fucking surprised. The social engineering is in on this shit. That's where social media come in there in the news, and kids, people go missing. You know how many young teenage girls or young guys, as they go on all these dating apps. That's what all the dating apps is for, to set motherfuckers up to get kidnapped. You got that's how they get a lot of our older goddesses, you know what I'm saying? And you got people that still link up online too. All right, they'll use the military, okay? The military does the same shit, because you got the military that's working through the judicial system where you got police and law enforcement agencies that's in on this shit, where they let these vans kidnap these kids, grab these kids, and make sure that they're able to get away with it. All right, the economy is in on this. When you talk about your bankers, your big bankers is in on this shit. So, you know, like, what they doing is, they round up, like, ex-criminals or people that have been in mental institutions, or like people that's homeless on the street, or people that's big gang members, or people that's like definitely with your new age rappers. That's why a lot of these trash ass rappers blew up, because they using them. All right, they using a lot of actors and actresses who get around a lot of kids. Think Angelina Jolie. You always seen her with motherfucking 10 kids. She always talking about she adopt a lot of kids. No. They use some kids for a totally different reason than you could ever believe. But they use all these different regular people. And you got your regular people that pay other people. All right. And them people that get paid pay other people who actually go riding these vans, riding these cars, kidnap these kids from schools, hospitals, internet, flat out walking down the street, literally coming in people's houses. You know, those people